What's good? What's good? We are here for another random episode of the Men Like Us podcast. Y'all know what it is. I gotta share the stream. So if you're watching on Facebook, do me a solid, share the stream, get it out there. We got some interesting things to talk about today, and that's really what it is. I don't want to give up the whole topic, but you read the title, so you came into the stream, you came into the podcast episode. So, yeah, it's what it is. 1 second. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just sharing the stream here. And yeah, so give me like a solid another 60. I know you already gave me some time there. People who listen on podcasts, you know what it is. You know what it is. So just hold on just a little bit longer. And we will jump right into this topic and get it cracking. So let's see here. Oh, yeah, I can't spell no more. Apologies for the crappy spelling. Slowing down my sharing efforts up in show. Oh, Lord. So I'm using a touchpad and it's making it so much slower because the computer I'm using right now only has it's just bad. Okay, whatever. That's done. That's enough. Enough of the sharing. So, let me light myself up some more here. This seems a little dark. Hello. All right. So, welcome to yet another episode of the Men Like Us podcast. This is a show that is for men by men. We share things from the men's point of view. I guess you could say on this channel, we center men, the kinds of men that aren't centered anywhere else on any other platform. So we are going to be talking about our experiences, our perspectives on certain things, and we keep it real. So you're not going to agree with everything we have to say tonight. Not that anybody ever agrees with everything I have to say, period, on the show. It's just what it is. All I can ask is, just be patient and just expect not to agree with everything you hear tonight. Because, we keep it real. We tell from our perspective, and you can't win them all. So with that in mind, I am going to bring on my guest, Colin. What up, Colin?
Evening. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay,
sir.
Perfect.
Yeah, man. Long time no talk, bro.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it has been a while.
It's definitely been a minute. So how are things going up there in Canada?
Well, I mean, at this point, the weather has finally started to change, but aside from the fact that we're not talking about the weather, no, things are good, man. Like, can't complain whatsoever. Like, things are just smooth, good.
Mm-hmm.
Finally hit a place where a lot of turmoil from like backstory of like, as I've said before on the podcast, with like the kids and everything is starting to settle down. So can't complain whatsoever.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Things,
and it's about fucking time.
Truck along.
Yeah.
Apologies to the viewers. I know we don't come around that much, but when we do come around, we got some shit to say.
Yeah, generally speaking,
you need to be setting up your notifications, and whenever this channel goes live, that you can see that we're going live, because we got some shit to say. We got some conversation to have. So without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into the shit. So today's conversation really came about because I manage a few groups on Facebook that include transgender women, trans attracted men, and just like the conversations that they have there within. And what's been coming up this month with Pride is, I've been hearing guys ask like, "Hey, like, can I celebrate this? B, can I celebrate this? If so, like, how do I do that? Am I allowed to celebrate? Am I allowed to show up to events and really, you know, celebrate Pride and all this other stuff?" Like, there's been a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad that some people, really, the way things are, people feel like they need permission. At this point, it's really sad that like we've gotten to that place where people don't even feel free to just, show the fuck up and be themselves. But
Yep.
before we jump into the Pride thing specifically, I feel like it makes more sense for us to tackle first, you know, where trans attracted men who consider themselves heterosexual, trans attracted, or bisexual, whatever, just trans attracted men, period. Where do they fit into this overall LGBTQIA plus LMNOP conglomerate that has
Yeah.
just been continually growing? All sorts of new identities just popping up in there. No resistance. It's just, oh yeah, that's part of it. They got their own flag, whatever. They're in the
Yeah.
shit. And it's just, like where do trans attracted men fit into that? Now, before we jump into that, I will say that there are those who believe that, trans attracted men, they're just straight men, they're cis hetero straight men,
Mhm.
and they don't belong in the LGBT space at all. So that, I mean, that's the way some people think out there. But I'm not gonna put it all out there. Do your thing, Colin. Take us off, man.
Okay. All right. No, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So again, as I've said many times on this channel, like, so I'm a queer man. So my space is different in the sense that I am, yes, I'm a cis male. I am not a heterosexual male though. So with me, again, as I've said in the past, my attraction lies across the spectrum. I don't care if you're female, male, trans, cis, it doesn't matter to me. So me, I am very much a part of this community because I fall under that community. I'm a big part of it. I have been since I came out. I was an ally before I came out. That's who I am. In regards to when it comes to the guys out there, in my opinion, who are cis hetero and are just attracted to trans women, you are a huge ally of the community. And not only that, but if you are dating somebody who is within that community, you, in my opinion, become a part of that community because you are with somebody who is living that life, who is in the community. So by default, again, my opinion, you are part of that community by default by being with somebody who is in that. You can't be with somebody and not be a part of who they are, what they are part of. Because if you're not going to have, both feet in that with who you're with, you can't really fully be with them. So if you're with somebody that's part of the community, like I said, then you are, in my opinion, a part of that community. Um, and an ally, hopefully an ally. Fingers crossed that you're not just a chaser, because that's a different topic altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But right, like, which we have discussed in the past, and I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're with somebody who is trans, who is part of the community, um, then you're in that, and you should be able to celebrate that without having to worry about repercussions and just do it fully, because why would you not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there you have it,
And that's
folks.
my long-winded explanation, as I always go off on.
Hey, it's all good, bro. It's all good, man. What up, Roy? What up, Sammy? Uh, Roy says we are allies and we fall under the trans umbrella. That's another take on this. Just gonna show the fist up from Sammy because that's the homie. Dang, what was it? Oh, I think he got a podcast called Not So Sorry podcast. I'll verify before we end so we can promote it. But yeah, well, I mean, I guess when it comes to that, oh dang, Sammy hopped on. Hold on a second. Let me get the homie on. What's up, man?
Hey,
What's
how's it
going
going,
on?
buddy?
Man. Uh-oh, he just
I was gonna say, oh, and he's gone.
My bad.
Yeah, right. There he is.
And he's back.
Yo,
What's
man.
going on?
Yay. So yeah, man, Sammy, I would love to hear because I know you're a no nonsense guy. I know you keep it real. So, where do you believe where do you believe trans attracted men belong at? I guess hold on a second. Let me get that question right. Right. So are trans attracted men a part of the LGBT community or no? How do you see this?
In my honest opinion, I see it as more we're allies. We're not really a part of it. Just speaking for myself, I don't really identify as, gay because I'm attracted to trans women and I'm attracted to the femininity. That's what brings me to them. Of course, I'm comfortable with them, whatever, sexual body part that they have down there. But as far as that, I don't really identify with, queer or, gay. I do feel like I'm an ally. I do feel like, those are my friends, my family. But I don't necessarily see as we're people.
Oh, dang it. He just dropped out again. Come on, Sammy, come back to us.
You had such a good point that you were trying to make, man. Come on.
Yeah. Well, anywho, the OG Stan, what up, Stan? Stan Lucas of the Trans Entertainment Network dropped in and he answered the question. He said, yes, we are part of the community. That stance on it. Now, some of y'all gonna notice we are a group of individuals. Everybody got different ideas and perspectives.
Oh, of course.
Oh, you can't hear us?
Unmute your computer or your phone.
It's probably the phone, yeah. But yeah, that's what Stan the Man says, and
microphone.
Oh, I think we got you.
I can't hear you guys. Can you hear me?
No, I got you back.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing nothing.
Oh man.
Hold on.
All right. Well, let me bring the homie down real quick. So we'll get Sammy back in this. But yeah, look, I guess my whole get down on this because I gotta throw my little 2 cents in as well.
Please do. I was about to ask. Okay, Chris, give us your 2 cents on the matter.
Hold on, let's see if Sammy's back. You back?
I'm good.
All right. So yeah, now we were just talking about the homie Stan. He sees it as trans attracted men are part of the LGBT community. That's his opinion, his perspective, and hey, Stan's doing a lot of good work out there. He got the Trans Entertainment Network, and they're doing makeup stuff now. I've been seeing they've been doing a whole lot of makeup artistry and giving different women in the community opportunities. But he's also been promoting a lot of trans musical artists. So
nice.
I know there's been some singers in his with his company, and he's had some different ones, different artists throughout his time working on that or starting up his company. But I will say, if you're interested in hearing about it, I did interview him for the on my first podcast, Trans Talk for Men, and we interviewed him and his wife, Crystal, and they're absolutely amazing. So
okay.
Yeah, I just had to know Stan's in the house, and I appreciate that because that's the homie right there, and he's doing big things.
Yeah.
But
good job, Stan. That's amazing, buddy.
Oh yeah,
how'd you doing that?
He's doing this thing. So back to the topic though. Yeah, what up, Mike? G Mike. But yeah, so okay, this is how I look at it, fellas. So in the way that I view the LGBT community, this is hey Crystal, what's up? Hey.
Oh my God, Crystal! I haven't seen Crystal in so long. Hey, Crystal.
Hey. So the way I view all this is like the LGBT community was created, like its whole point is to give a safe space and community to and support to all people with sexualities the dominant society doesn't approve of. So you got your gays, your lesbians, your bis, and for whatever reason, trans women are in there, even though that's not a sexuality. Whatever, they're just associating it with queerness, I guess. And I don't know. Either way, so they're in there too. But this is all about bisexual, lesbian, gay. Like this is all about who you fuck. This ain't about who you are as a person. Yeah, there is a culture with each little group, but there's a lot of people that don't adhere to that stuff. They don't. They're just not that. But what I'm saying is, like, if that's what this group is, and the group has grown to incorporate other sexual identities outside of those first three or four, like I'm just be real. If they letting asexual people up in the club, then we need to be up in there too. I mean, you got a whole sexual identity off of not fucking nobody. Like, damn. How the fuck you get in? You ain't even fucking. That don't even make sense to me. Like, what the hell? But we can't get in? And I'm saying we can't get in because what we risk discrimination, like everybody else in the group. We risk discrimination just like them. You can lose your job. I've known men who have lost work. I know men who have been discriminated against in work. I know men that have been kicked out of their families' homes. I know men who have been like their whole family situation has been fucked up, mine included, not completely fucked up, but severely affected. Like, there are downsides to living in your truth and I guess stepping up, coming out, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
There are downsides to people knowing that you are trans attracted and that you date trans women. And that's why I'm saying, like, in accordance with that logic, I'm not saying we should get a whole letter or nothing like that. I'm not even saying we should get a flag. But what I am saying is if there are trans attracted men who feel like they need a safe space, they need community, they need people who they want to find and be around people who respect them and all of that kind of stuff and just find a place to be and exist, they should have every right to go to your local LGBT center, whatever trans, whatever. They should be able to find a home at any of these places, period. Because this all has to do, in my mind, this all has to do with who you're fucking. Because if men weren't fucking men, then there would be no point of gay anything.
Okay, fair enough. So can I interject for 1 second?
Yeah.
As I do, so prepare for a long off the track story as I normally do. Okay, so talking sexuality, right? Okay, so again, as 1,000 times, I have to say it every single time just to get my point across. So all the any new viewers, queer guy, not straight whatsoever. But so you put a lot of emphasis on the who you're fucking part, or on like the sexuality part, right? However, there's more to it than just that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when at least from the aspect of not being straight, whatever that entails,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't just have to do with who you're sleeping with, what gender they are, what they've got dangling or not dangling between their legs. It's an entire it's an entire being of existence, right? And that is kind of where I think a lot of people have issue with whether or not like hetero cis males can be a part of the community or not. as opposed to just being an ally of the community. Because it's like, for lack of a better term, it's like this lack of admittance into maybe I'm not straight, and I'm saying that in the sense of not to argue whatsoever, because I do completely 100% agree that if you are a cis hetero male, you can be attracted to trans women post pre-op, doesn't matter, and you're still cis hetero because they are still women, and we can all agree with that 100% across the board. Yeah,
Sure.
but it's like, it's this weird kind of tricky place with wording that, like, depending on who you're talking to, you can either right exactly, like you can either like you can either be a part of the community
Depends on the
and you're
audience.
good, or fuck you, you're not a part of the community, you'll never be, but you can maybe be an ally depending on who you're talking to. So it's like this fine line. Me personally, I look at it as, again, like, for the millionth time now, queer guy, I'm a part of the community. I live my life as part of the community. When I see a hetero cis guy that is dating a trans woman, again, post pre, doesn't matter. I'm like, that man is a part of the community based off of what I said earlier, which is, if you are dating somebody that is part of the community, you are a part of it because you are a part of that person's life. So how can you not be a part of their community? Right? How can you not be a part of their culture? And there's my long-winded, like I always do, explanation of my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm sorry if I have offended anybody within our community or within my community, without my community, but that is my opinion. And I'm just gonna shut up and have another sip of my beer and leave the floor back to you guys.
Yeah, I do get where you're coming from with that, because I do agree with certain points. I've had some people who've argued with me, well, not necessarily argued, but where we've had that conversation where I'm not necessarily a part because some of the issues that they have to deal with, I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just use it the term like Chris was using earlier about coming out. As a trans attracted guy, I've never used that term like coming out. I just say, I'm attracted to trans. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm trans attracted. You know what I mean? And a lot of time the girls who I do deal with, just speaking from my personal experience, they're attracted to me because they feel like I'm a, hetero, straight guy. You know what I mean? Like, they want to identify as a woman. And so by me carrying myself as I do, that not necessarily validates them as a woman, but it's like, hey, he's a man, I'm a woman. This is how we live our life. You know
And
what I
by
mean?
definition,
right. So that's why I always kind of seen myself as an ally, because the girls who I've dated, and I've been dating trans women for over 10 years. If I've gone to a pride event, it's like they've been a part of it, where they're, I've talked to people who've been like performers, speakers, all those situations like that. And I've just been a supporter, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how I've always seen myself, as a supporter, as an ally, because like you say, I don't necessarily see us have a letter there, a color, a flag. So it's just like, we
don't need all that.
Yeah, we're just in the room.
But even as a supporter, like, that's a fantastic thing, right? And like, as we've discussed many times on this channel, or at least the times that I've been on, we're like, the brass tacks is, be the supporter, right? Don't be the guy that's like, I will date you and love you once we close the door.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's not really love at that point.
No,
that's
exactly.
more lust, which, as men, we know full well, how other men can lust somebody and not give a fuck about them at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but guys, this whole thing in my mind is about choice, and if you. And that was, I think that's something I brought up in earlier conversations. Like, look, anybody who has a coming out story, you should get in, period. Get in, you're let in the club. That's what it is. You have a story where you had to tell somebody and actually deal with the nervousness of doing so, because brass tacks, everybody, trans women are not cis women. Trans women are trans women, and both are women, but trans women are not cis women. Therefore, you being a cis male and not being with a cis woman, you are out of alignment with the dominant society. And in a lot of people's eyes, you're gay.
Exactly.
And that's something that your family has to deal with, and
especially Black community.
Oh, especially in our especially in our community. And I mean, it happens in other communities too, but your family has to get used to the idea. Like, we can't go as if, this is just man and a woman and that's what it is, and forget everything else, and all this other stuff doesn't exist. It does, and it creates some really traumatic events, and it can put people in a space where they need help, they need support. And while me and Colin and Sammy and all the other guys in the group are happy to do that, there's far more men out there than the men that are in our group, or even the guys who are asking to be in our group.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, there needs to be space for these individuals who have sexualities that create create mental trauma for them. And Sammy, to your point, because we hear this shit a lot of times, whenever we start talking about this shit, it turns into the fucking trauma Olympics. Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't go through what I went through, and it's just everybody ain't got to go through what you went through to get anything. And first off, we're different. If we were trans women, then we would go through what you went through. But guess what? There's plenty of gay men that ain't going through what you went through. Trans women, plenty of lesbian women, plenty of bisexual, asexual, demisexual, non-binary, plenty of a whole bunch of people that ain't go through what you went through, but they still in the club. You don't gotta go. We don't have to have the experience of trans women to say, hey, you know what? I want to be here because I need support. And I can't find anybody else like myself exactly who can support me. But at least this group of people understands what it means, what it feels like to be ostracized by your family, by friends, by society, be made fun of at work. I know guys, they deal with people talking shit at work. People talking like they got to deal with this shit every day because people found out their girlfriend is trans or whatever else. And this shit's real. So it's just like to tell men that, oh, well, you don't show because you're a cis hetero male and you shouldn't be in here. I'm sure they struggle more than a demisexual person, whatever the fuck that is. But they got a color somewhere on the flag. Like, I'm just saying, it's getting really weird right now in terms of like, and I think a lot of this like pushback really does stem from the amount of trauma that cis hetero men have caused a lot of people in the LGBT community, not just the trans community. I really do think there is some trauma there related and triggering there related to cis hetero men that makes it impossible for them to empathize with us and our experiences, and that puts them in a place where they don't want to help or they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I think there's something else going on there in terms of the pushback as to why men cannot choose to seek shelter or support in these certain places. I think something else is going on there. Oh, Sammy, you have great skin.
I just read that and it was like, that's hilarious.
Literally, your comments only being featured here because you're a real one and you be showing up for the shows.
Please tell us your moisturizing routine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nivea body wash, Nivea lotion.
Amazing.
That was random.
Yeah, hey, it is what it is, man. It's been like a podcast.
Take the compliment. Take the compliment.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But not to drag this out, I'm gonna cut it off right here, or at least my portion of it. I'm just land my plane. We're just saying, I feel like the men in this space, but also there are men who have killed themselves over this shit, committed suicide because their wife found out that they liked trans women and they ain't even fucked nobody. It wasn't like they was cheating or nothing like that. It was just like, oh, well, I know dudes who had to like struggle to get access to their children over this shit. Like, you gay, you like them weird people, you like, okay, you can't see your kids anymore. I'm gonna keep you away from your kids. And I like battled it out in court, and it became like a whole issue for multiple guys. This is a big issue on a whole lot of different levels, from work to family relations to parental rights, all this stuff. It sounds very LGBT to me. Just saying.
I definitely agree with you.
You don't have to be a part of it, fellas. I don't consider myself a part. I don't consider myself queer. I don't consider myself a part of the LGBT community. But when I look out there in the sea of men who are looking for help, support, all that stuff, all I say is that man is not wrong if he feels like this is where he wants to go get support. Like he should have access if he wants it. You don't have to take it. Not everybody's down there at the LGBT center in your city. Not everybody's there, but the door should be open for him like it is anybody else who struggles based off of, society's reactions to their sexuality. I'm gonna mute, but Colin, I'm gonna let you hit your final thought, and then Sammy, we're gonna hit your final thought on this one, and we're gonna move on to the next topic.
Sam, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm a dad, I'm a father of 3 boys. So I definitely understand where you just coming from with that as far as like, trauma. I mean, it was trauma for me. It was trauma for my kids. It was, trauma for my family. Like you said, if I share my girl on my story, the amount of comments and replies that you get about, oh, I didn't know you were this, or you have some people cheering for you, oh, I'm proud of you, you're living your truth, and you have some people with question marks. I do agree with you. Like I said, if somebody is seeking that safe place, that place where they can feel comfortable, then I think they should definitely be welcoming to the community. And I think the community definitely would welcome. I've never had an issue with anybody of the community who, didn't kind of welcome me in with open arms. It just, it was all about me choosing to use that avenue or not. But I also think for, most men also too, is just, it's so simple to me, but I think it's complicated for some people. Just like for me, if I see somebody with my eyes and they're attractive, if I find them attractive, whatever state they're in, then that person is attractive. And I think, especially with men, there's come the fragile masculinity, like I need to make sure she's not trans or this, that, and the third. It's just like, man, if somebody looks good, they just look good. You know what I'm saying? It's just as simple as that with me. And that's kind of how I came out about it. The girl who I was talking to, you couldn't tell me she wasn't fine. I don't care if she was trans or not. Like, I thought she was attractive, and nobody wasn't going to tell me anything different. So that kind of what got me going with it. And the number of guys who were in their inbox validated it for me. I was just the guy who was okay with saying it out loud. So, that's my 2 cents on it.
Admirable indeed. But that's why you're here, because I fucks with you, man.
Yeah.
Brother Colin, final words.
I mean, like, so what I will say is, being a guy who has dated a trans woman openly in the past, I'm gonna shoot back to what I've said many times on this podcast, which is like, so I'll start with a story, as I do, and then I'll pan back. I'm like the sushi bar, I keep coming around. So like I used to date a trans girl, and openly, no fucks to give, didn't care, held her hand walking down the street, didn't care whatsoever, nor whatever. Like, if I ever found myself in that position again. This is a podcast about men who are trans attracted, who are looking for a safe space or some place where they can validate themselves. You don't need a place to validate yourself. Be with who you love. It doesn't matter what, the person down the street says or the person that you walk past says. When it comes to support from the community, if you consider yourself a part of it based off of who you're dating, or if you're not hetero and you're queer like myself, or bi, pan, whatever, you're already part of it. That's great. You have those supports. The hetero guys out there that are watching this right now, you choose where you want to lay when it comes to the involvement that you have. If you choose to identify as part of it, as somebody who represents the queer community to a degree, welcome. If you don't want to be a part of it and you want to stay off to the side, be an ally, support the person that you're with, do that. If you don't want anything to do with it, but you're with a trans woman who is like, hey, I'm a woman, you're a male, or you're a guy, pardon my language, let's stay out of it. And that's you, then that's you. Do what makes you feel comfortable. And again, we are talking on the channel right now that is about men who are trans attracted. If you can't find anywhere else where you're comfortable, we are here. Stay within this bubble, because this bubble will always be comfortable for you, because the people who are in it, myself included, will always make you feel like you have family here because you do. And I think that's my final thought on that one.
Well, all right, brother.
Nicely put.
That's what's up. Well, I hope from this conversation on our trans attracted men and part of the LGBT community, I hope somebody, listening out there, really got what they needed out of this. And I hope somebody was helped from the words we just gave y'all over the last, 30 minutes ish. I do want to jump to the comments. And Colin knows that the comments take the show. We go all over. Like, we planned on talking about this and just this, and that's it. But
you guys never tell me to shut up, and I just go and I go and I go. It's the ADHD. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. It's all good. No, you're killing it. So, Blue Beyonce asks, would you consider yourself bisexual? And while I would not, there are other people that would, other guys in this trans attracted space that would consider themselves bisexual, but mostly because they date gay men and trans women, or they date trans men and trans women. But here's what it is. I mean, it's what do you want? Sexuality is fluid. I don't know. Like, there's a spectrum of it. Like,
okay,
some people like some stuff and some people don't like other stuff. But I mean, I would not consider myself bisexual for just dating trans women. So that's just me.
I second you on that. Like, nah.
So and the reason why I addressed Blue Beyonce's questions, because they had this other one, and I'm like, oh, okay, we got to dispel we got to tell some truth here on this one. Says Blue Beyonce says, I'm a black femboy who does cross-dress. There are men who do think I'm trans, telling them no, they still accept it and still want to have sex with me just for sex, not though, not a relationship. I don't think there was a follow-up comment. So yeah. So I mean, that there's that, and I had to just tell some truth on the air, because I like to get canceled every now and again.
Every now and again.
Pretty much every show. But I mean, let's be real, y'all. Like, y'all may be different than me, but I'll say it like this: there are individuals that you will have sex with, and there are individuals you will be in a relationship with. And they're not always the same people in either group. And some people you're like, all right, well, yeah, I could do that for a night. And this other one, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm mesmerized. She is all these things. Like, oh, she got potential. But it's sadly, they're just, the ones that are when the women who we see is like, okay, well, yeah, she could be a good time. She could be a fun chick to hang out with a little bit here and there, but you're not looking at her like she could be wifey. You're not looking at her like, man, my mom would love her. Right? None of that stuff. It's
No, but it's like that across the board. It doesn't matter whether they're trans or fucking cis. Like, it doesn't
oh yeah,
matter.
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's in general. That's
And
men. Period. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't announce it. I left the LGBT space, trans space out. That's just in general.
exactly. Yeah,
How
and I was
we
about
do
to say
it.
too. Yeah, her situation. I mean, you know, a guy
Well,
looking
yeah.
for a guy looking for a nut. I mean, he will fuck anything. You know, that's just
Yeah, well, you heard it there. That's an admission, ladies.
that's just
You
real.
guys
You know
got
what I
that
mean?
one out of us tonight.
That like she mentioned, he's looking for sex. That's what he's looking for. The second
Mhm.
that nut comes out, you don't look the same to him. He's probably, hey, what are you about to do? Because he's about to get out the room. You know what I mean?
oh
Like,
my.
I'm not trying to be blunt, but
Yeah.
but we
Oh,
know
all
the
of a sudden she
scenario.
goes from a 10 to an 8 and me
Yeah,
run.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
the ratings start dropping. I mean, the second, like you said, she goes from a 10 to an 8. The next thing you know, she's a 5, and it's like,
Mhm.
let me get the hell up out of here because I got what I wanted. And
Yep. Yep.
you know,
I just have to say, ladies, you got that one on up out of us. Yes, men will fuck anything if all they're looking to do is fuck.
yes,
They will not fuck anything if they're looking for something deeper. They're not going to date any of these. No, they're not going to date anything or marry anything or boo up anything. No, it's just different categories. Either you here or you over here. And
yeah.
not everybody makes it to the relationship
Yep.
potential category. A lot more people make it in this other one. So yes, we admit, yes, y'all are right. Because I know y'all heard it before. Men will fuck anything.
If that man only calling after 9, baby, then you it's something. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my
Like,
God.
I'm
Yes,
only trying
and
to
it
see it
will.
at nighttime or early morning.
If you get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning, you might want to
Only at
reiterate
3.
your values.
Yes.
But only at 3 after the
Only
bar.
at well,
You don't.
nothing good ever happens after 3 a.m. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in.
It's possible.
That's why I go to bed at 10 o'clock at night on most nights.
Oh man,
Like, I'm safe from that.
Like,
that's our curse right now.
the wee hours of the morning is, you know.
Hey, I ain't gonna look. I'll be out late. I'll be out late still. I'll be like, hey, okay, the bar's closed. We're going to the after set. We're going to the after hour spot. Where we going? What we doing? I don't want to go home yet. Let's kick it. Let's go.
Hey.
But that's the South. So if y'all don't know anything about the South, I'll clue y'all in just very quickly. A lot of black strip clubs in the South make some good fucking food. And like Magic
Wings.
City is notorious. Magic City,
The wings.
most popular strip club in the South, the wings. Everybody loves
the
their
chain.
wings. People will go in there and get wings and leave.
Leave. Yes, sir.
You ain't even there for the girls. You just there to eat.
Order the
I'm
food.
gonna get a
Stay for the
dance, but
entertainment.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna get those wings though.
Yeah.
I might not
Oh,
get a
man.
dance. I'm definitely getting those wings though.
Magic City wings, y'all. There was this place I went to in Houston, and I'm like, yo, this chicken sandwich is bussin'. That was not drunk at all. It was just, I'm like, yo, that was a dope. The chicken sandwich was dope.
Oh my
I
God.
never knew I was going to find a great chicken sandwich at a strip club, but damn it, I did. But as they be cooking in the South, them strip clubs, it's different. It's not a seedy place. It's like people like legit got whole plates and eating a full ass meal there. It's nuts. Anyways, see, sidetrack shit, y'all. We all over the place. It's just what it is. But I'm sorry. Yeah, off topic. Liberty. Also said, to be honest, living in Texas, it's kind of hard to find trans attractive men here. All I get is first timers at this point in my transition. I would love to attract a trans attractive man who already got everything. Rather than teaching them, I want a guy already that already did the inner work and mental work. And that is great. That sounds great on paper, what you want, but I don't know. I just think it's one of those situations where it's like, at some point, the ladies is going sadly, you might have to do a little hand holding. That's all I'm saying. To get this guy to where he needs to be, or he's not looking over his shoulder, to where his eyes don't bug out when he sees somebody he know when y'all out on a date, and it's fucked up. But that's the way society has put. I don't even know. I mean, it's on him, but then it's also this identity of straightness and what he has to live up to, and it's just all this just junk that been put into people, which is why men like us on this show are so rare, because it takes work and deprogramming to really get yourself to where we're at, and it is not a quick process.
No, it's really not. I agree with you on that one, Chris. And I mean, like, to try to find somebody like lickety split that's like that, it's gonna kind of you have to take a couple of tumbles before you find that, unfortunately. And it is really unfortunate, because I mean, like, even through this group, like, there are a lot of damn good guys out there who have done the work that I've seen personally, and you both have seen it as well. That are looking for that, but it comes down to like the unfortunate circumstance of location or life circumstances. Like there's always a clusterfuck of scenarios and situations that seem to keep a very big disconnect between guys like us and what these women are looking for.
Dating's already hard right now anyway in 2023, but adding this layer of shit on there makes it even harder. So like
exactly.
you said, you're gonna go through those rough spots. Like, ideally, yeah, we would all like to find somebody who's dealt with this shit, know how to navigate and know what they're doing, but the chances of you finding that are, slim to none. You, like you said, you just got to go through the work. The man has to go through his part, and you got to go through your part, and you just pray that it all works out.
Exactly, and you hope that you find that connect, right, in such a slim pool, comparatively speaking, right? Like, where it's just kind of like it I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this in a different area of the world, or different timeline in your life. And the connect never really gets at the same point.
Definitely.
Yeah. And really, people I said this in the previous show, people like, oh, Chris, I'm sorry you had so many, like, they was looking at me like I was a hurt puppy, and I'm like, no, I'm just telling the fucking truth. There's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of men that's full of shit. There's a lot of women that's full of shit. And the few of us that ain't full of shit, or the few of us that want to be better, we, for whatever reason, we don't find each other. Girls like Liberty, who's out there trying to find something meaningful, and who ain't on that bullshit, they rarely find the dudes who's out there looking, because the most visible girls usually are not with the shits. They're on some bullshit, whether they're OnlyFansing it up or prostituting or whatever, or they just want to live a bad bitch independent life, whatever. They're just not with it. And the guys who approach these girls on the street, the most aggressive ones, aren't guys like us. It's the dude that's on the fuck shit. It's the guys that want to do the DL stuff. Those are the most, and let's be real, half of them are married, trying to talk to these girls. Like, it's a whole lot of shit. It's a lot of pieces of shit on both sides, and the few of us, we never connect. We never find each other. There's no service to help us. There are some dating sites, but even that shit's flooded with fucking prostitutes and solicitation bullshit.
Absolutely.
And the nice girls, and they ain't even on there because they just living their fucking life. They're not on some trans.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
well, I mean, like we all have a very good friend who's a good guy who's been going through hard times. We all know who, right? who just can't seem to land what he deserves,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that that kills me every time
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he is open, like he's great. He is uh an ally for the community, going back to the original conversation of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he just can't seem to get that horseshoe on the pole, right? Like,
Nah, man. I mean, I'm telling you, from drug addicts to prostitutes to all sorts of craziness to cheaters to abusers to all this shit. It's everywhere.
yeah,
It's everywhere. And so, men watching this show, the trans community is not exempt. Do not take everybody as if all the girls are these majestic creatures and X, Y, and Z. They're real people and you need to vet. Just
yep,
like you would vet a cis woman. You need to vet
oh, 100%.
everybody. Don't give
Yep.
nobody a pass for ish. Vet people, period, because we're all human. We're all human. So, let's see. Blue Beyonce said one. Oh, the problem is there are a lot of young men out there who love trans, would even spoil them and take them on dates, but they rather keep them secret. That's what I call being functionally DL.
Yeah.
So functionally DL men will appear like they're not DL, because functionally DL men they're the ones who are, oh, I'll take you on a date to a restaurant on the other side of town where don't nobody know me.
Yeah. But I won't bring you
I'll
back
show
to
you this open stuff, but in a way where I don't have to sacrifice anything or I don't have to do any inner work on myself.
Mhm.
So I'll be open with you if you keep the secret and you don't tell anybody that you're trans. And then we'll both just be DL and happy as fuck. Like, as long as I'm not put out there as somebody who dates trans, I'm good. He's good. And it's just like, all right, I mean, that's the life you want to live.
Yeah. Well, it is a certain sect of women, trans women out there who they prefer the DL guy. This
Yeah.
is their thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you come out or if you're like us, admit that you're trans attracted, they basically look at it as you like, where you're saying you're gay, and that's not what I want from you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that sect also kind of keeps those guys protected. I mean, I seen
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook, I seen a post and it was
Mm-hmm.
so weird. It was like, if you out DL guys, you're not my friend or something like that. It
Mm-hmm.
was just a random post that was going around. And I just
Mm-hmm.
thought, hey, about the DL thing, like, you don't, like you said, when you're comfortable coming out, you come out. If you're not, then that's fine. But just the sneaking around, the doing things behind your partner or making it unsafe situations for people out there, those are the things
Mm-hmm.
I can't side with. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with coming out, that's fine. But when you create situations where you can put people in danger, whether it's them or you, by not coming out, then I think you crossed the line then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's men's responsibility to do everything within our power to create a safe environment for the women that we choose to date, that we choose to align ourselves
Yep.
with. And I believe part of creating a safe environment is, doing the work ahead of time before they get there. You're not gonna bring the girl to your house and then cut the grass and clean up and all that. No, you're gonna have everything set up before she even get there. So you're gonna have those discussions with your family and whoever. And it ain't about discussions about her, it's discussions about you, the man, so that
Yeah.
they know what it is and it ain't going to be no smoke. Like, sadly, it takes, for a lot of people, it takes time for them to get used to the idea. And in some ways, they have to change and transition and evolve right alongside you. So ain't nothing happening overnight. But if you don't set that table, you're setting up an unsafe situation. That's my opinion. Just
I agree with you on that one.
it's opinion. But anywho, let's go on to this next thing real quick, and then we can bump on out here. Colin, I know I don't want to take up your whole night, man. because he got kitties over there,
I
kitties in the
do. Yep,
background.
I do.
So let me just jump straight to that because we talked about our trans attracted men are part of the LGBT community. Should they be able to have access to the community in whatever way X, Y, and Z? And now really to the crux of a lot of this, which led us here was where do trans attracted men fit into Pride? Men are asking, well, am I
Walk
allowed
it.
to go to those events? Am I allowed to celebrate? I mean, is this something that we celebrate? Can we actually be happy and just celebrate ourselves and our journey and X, Y, and Z? Like, are we allowed to do X, whatever? For whatever reason, men are asking for permission. I think that's silly, but I think the question still stands: where do trans attracted men fit into Pride? Where do y'all feel like guys are at in that?
Okay, walk it. Walk the parade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, as an individual or a group, walk it. Why would you not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's Pride is a celebration of, or supposed to be a celebration of everybody who doesn't fit into your social norms. You don't fit into a social norm, walk it. Walk alongside your trans partner. Walk alongside people who you know and love that are within the community. I mean, fuck, walk alongside nobody. Walk it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why you can't. Because that is what Pride is supposed to be about. It is, we don't fit into a social norm. We are different. And different is not necessarily bad at all. And that's the thing. When it comes to hetero trans attracted men, you are considered different. Whether you consider that a good thing or a bad thing, you're still different. I don't agree with it being different, but it is what it is. So celebrate that. Celebrate that thing that makes people go, huh, and walk. Like, you are taking part of something that is outside of the norm, which is okay. Be okay with that. And know within yourself that, hey, I'm doing what makes me happy. Fuck everybody else. I'm just going to do this thing. It's hard, that those first few steps. And I mean, speaking from experience with like my last Pride parade that I went to last year was my first. Those first few steps were hard, but I took them. If I can take them, y'all can as well. Take them, enjoy them, relish them. And if anybody has an issue with it, ignore them because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Take those first three steps and go, hey, this is who I am. And walk with your head held high, knowing that you are walking for, if anything else, the community of just us men and the tribe like us. And that's where I'm going to end my point.
That's what's it. Sammy.
I kind of want to piggyback on what he said. If you feel the need to walk it or you feel that reason to celebrate, I don't think you should hold back. Like, you should get out there. If it's not for you, if it's for a friend, if it's for a family member, if it's for somebody who's maybe passed away and gone, whatever your reason, if you feel the need to do it, then I think you should. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you should look for a reason to be validated or invited in, because honestly, at the end of the day, this is all our individual journey. This is all our individual choice. Obviously, us on this podcast, we're okay with living it out loud. But as we mentioned earlier, if you're not comfortable with living it out loud, if the only thing you want to do is walk, then just go out there and walk. You don't have to scream. You don't have to go make a speech. You don't have to make a Facebook post. You don't have to wear a T-shirt saying you're an ally or you're proud or anything like that. If you just want to get out there and celebrate, then you should. I don't think you should have to validate yourself or, get permission from somebody in the community, because again, like he mentioned, Pride was started because people who were outcasts wanted to feel a part of something. And so I think the same thing applies. So I think if you want to get out there and do something, you should. I'm actually going to be in New York for Pride, the 23rd through the 26th, and I plan on going out there and walk. I'm not saying I'm going to make a speech or wear a shirt that says ally or something like that, but I'm going to be out there walking and support my girlfriend because she does a lot of stuff in the community. But like, I'm going to get out there and walk. But it's not just for me. It's my choice.
That's what's up. Dope. Hey, before we finish up this round, I want to bring somebody else in and get his perspective on this as well. So, what's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? The baby brother of the group's back.
Welcome.
Hey,
what's up, Dom? It's been a while, bro.
It has. It's been a minute. Sorry it took so long, man. Yeah.
Well, Dom, the question that's on the table is, where do trans attracted men fit into Pride? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, actually, before you get into it, I'm actually gonna log off, guys. I gotta deal with the kids and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Take care, brother.
Yeah, but thank you all for having me. Again, it's always been a pleasure. All right, boys.
Good seeing
Take
you.
care.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what was that question? One more time. Restate it. I've been trying to think.
On the table is, where do trans attracted men fit into Pride? Where do they fit into Pride?
So I feel that they belong just as much as anyone else, right? And not many, and we don't get as much credit as we deserve in a specific way. So I'm gonna answer that question, but I'm also going to kind of go a little controversial, I guess, if that makes sense. The thing about Pride, right, that it's become over the past couple years, the best way that I can describe it, it has become the Mardi Gras for straight people, which I don't understand why. I have a lot of friends of mine who they're allies, but back in Philadelphia, in the city, or Dallas or wherever, anytime Pride's going on, it's just a time for them to dress up in rainbow and go into the city, get free drinks, listen to great music, and kind of just get completely blasted, which I don't really understand why they're there just for that and not for the support, if that makes sense. I don't know if you feel any differently, or I don't know the gentleman's name. I don't know if he.
Sammy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got a emergency call. I got to jump off.
Oh, it's all good, bro.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man. Sorry, man. I got to run.
Yeah, it happens. All right, man. Later.
I feel like I'm so zoomed in for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, no, I just did that.
Oh, okay. There you go.
It just fills up the screen.
Yeah.
So, no, I no, there is that side of it. There is that side of like, I guess what some might say is appropriating Pride, and trivializing it in a sense.
Sure.
And trivializing the people that it's really meant to celebrate. LGBTQ and plus IA, all that stuff. So yeah, it's all of that. It's definitely there for all those people. But yeah, I do understand how people can be upset about just folks just coming in and just, this is just a reason for them to party, and they don't really care about any of the rest of it. And they're not doing anything to help people who it's aimed at celebrating. So I totally get that in a sense. So yeah, no, totally get that. I see that side of it. I just don't I don't feel like, I guess, men like us would be seen as doing that. But what I am going to say is, like, first off, I just think we need to be there.
Yeah,
Men like us, trans attracted men, need to be there. And Pride Month and Pride events aren't the only ones we need to be showing up at. I think it's high time for men to be more present and to be there as a support and just show up, because women need to see us show up for them. These girls
absolutely.
is getting killed. They got laws being made against them now. It's all this shit is happening, and there's all these men that's in the orbit of these women, all these men, and not a one of them shows up for shit. And we just need more cis, hetero, trans attracted guys showing up to be there, just to be there.
Right.
You don't have to be.
So,
We can be in the back. It don't matter.
but here's the thing, though, right?
Mhm.
We can be there, but the problem is with us being there is that unless we're with our trans partner
Mhm.
or friend or whomever, 95% of the time we're seen as queer individuals, gay men
Mhm.
or bisexual men. And I've been to Pride one time, and I've been asked so many times, "Oh, are you gay or what?" And I said, "No, I'm straight." And then I kind of get that. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming. Um, but I feel like trans attracted men need to be, if we're going to be involved in Pride, we shouldn't just be involved by being there. We need to make it known that we're there, right? So
Mhm.
we need to make it known that we're there. If it's just do, for instance, you doing a live show, setting up a table and doing a live show, and others there to kind of get the information out and let other individuals, straight individuals that are trans attracted, know that we are here. That the guy is speaking fine.
I don't know.
I don't know.
YouTube.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
threw me off. That is something that I feel needs to be um, there.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you feel differently, or anybody in the
No,
chat
no,
feels
I
differently.
agree. In a sense, I do think
Because
nothing changes or advances in the way that it really needs to,
right,
without men being involved. I just think that's a step forward. I think that's the thing that hasn't happened, and that's kept this whole situation locked in a state of arrested development.
right. I
Where,
mean,
yeah.
as much as Pride is about celebrating one's identity,
Hmm.
sexual or gender identity, right,
Hmm.
or self love, it's also about educating, right? I've been to Pride and they've
Hmm.
had free HIV testing or STI testings, right? They've had
Hmm.
help centers there, youth centers there for those individuals that identify in a sexual way or in a different gender way, for individuals to gain access or outlets to specific things that they are going through.
Hmm.
So, as much as that is important, why shouldn't we be in that category? Right. So I feel like there should be something there for men that are trans attracted to
Yeah.
educate others. But at the same time, I feel like, well, it's hard to be at every pride at one time. So realistically, we can't do that. But
Yeah.
uh,
Realistically.
if Waco had, I think Waco has a pride. I'm not too sure. See, okay, so that's where I was going. Coco is, I was just going in that direction. The thing is, not every trans attracted man is out, right? Because of society and the way things are. A lot of men are
Hmm.
DL. And it takes a lot mentally for a trans attracted man to come out and, one, put himself on the internet like this, And two, when people ask questions, to admit with themselves that they are openly trans attracted. So I think what they say. Sorry, Blue. What did you say? I don't think trans attracted men should be at Pride. Like if they love trans or don't hurt them. Honestly, no point. I don't understand that statement or your opinion. I mean, which is fine. I don't know. We do. And long story short, we do belong there. I feel that we do.
And I would agree. I think what the issue is for a lot of people is in what capacity, and should they? Are you there as an outside supporter, ally, or are you there as somebody who's genuinely celebrating? All of their, like, essentially, you and I could be individuals who could say we genuinely have something to celebrate,
Right.
and we're celebrating living in our truth in X, Y, and Z. And for the people, because this gets mixed up a lot, and I have to repeat. I repeat it damn near like every 3 or 4 shows at this point.
Sure.
But being quote out, living in your truth, or stepping up, as some other people call it, all of that stuff. When I talk about it on this show, when I try to encourage men to live in their truth, to be their authentic selves, I am encouraging you to do that with the people that matter in your life, your loved ones.
Right.
So, your family, your friends, your, like, the people that you really love, that you really give a fuck about. It's liberating to get to a place where you don't have to live a double life. Living a double life and living in fear of them finding out, in fear of the rejection that they may or may not ever bring to you. That's not a path to the happiest life you can live. We're here.
Right.
Happy is what matters in life. We're here to do this thing in a way where we're happy. We're not here to do this in a way where we're, burdened throughout our whole lives. So, when we encourage men to be out and open, we're not encouraging them to run to every street corner and yell it out. We're not encouraging them to say, hey, this is my trans girlfriend, such and such.
Yeah.
We're not encouraging them to blab at their job and tell everybody at their job, or everybody at their school, or everybody anywhere else who just really don't matter. Like, this is really about how you live your life and how open you are with the people that you love.
Sure.
And how unafraid you are if somebody does find out, because you are who you are and you're going to stand firm in your authentic self. You're not going to run and hide.
It definitely takes a lot for a person to kind of have that conversation. So I actually just had a conversation with my one buddy who is on my podcast. He knows my ex-wife is trans, and he actually brought up in conversation saying, hey, how come when you talk about women, right? And look, guys do it. We say this girl's hot, and just as much as women do it about men. We say this person's hot, or we just be dogs in our own way of being dogs. And women, you're just as guilty as it too. He brought up and asked, how come I don't say, hey, I'm talking to this girl, she's sexy as hell, blase, 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 but I don't say that she's trans, or I keep that that information to myself. And I told him, well, one, even though our friends, we have friends that were in a big group chat, we've done the podcast, they know that my ex-wife is trans. Not all of them are comfortable with it, and that's fine, and they're allowed to feel that way. I'm just because I'm trans attracted and I'm an ally doesn't mean I jump down everybody's throat and say, no, you have to be supportive, you have to do this. If you don't feel this way, then you can't be my friend. No, there's people are their own, they have their own perspective on things, and that's fine. And I respect that, right? I told him I don't bring that up or talk about if I find a girl who's trans sexy or attractive or so on and so forth. I don't bring that up mainly out of respect for them. And I know that sounds wrong, and it sounds like a form of transphobia, but I don't want to be that guy that is openly trans attracted like myself and throw it in everybody's face and have to throw it down everybody's throat because that gets tiresome. And I know I would be completely annoyed by that if somebody was doing that to me. Right. So, yeah, that's, I forget, I lost track where I was going with that, but
but in that vein, I do feel you on that point, because a reaction that I got from some of my relatives, some of my relatives like, well, you ain't gonna force nothing down my throat. You're forcing this on me. You're forcing this down my throat. And I'm like, I ain't forcing shit down your throat. I ain't even saying nothing to your ass. Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, you're forcing this on us. You're forcing this on me. I don't want to have to. It's like, I ain't forcing shit on nobody, but it would be forcing something on you if I brought it up all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
And, I got in your face and made you say what I wanted you to say and all that. Like, if I brought it up as a topic of discussion every single time we talked, yeah, that could be seen as me pushing it on you. But really, I guess that's on my own personal thing. I don't bring up certain things.
Yeah.
Not to give these people any inch of credibility when they say, oh, you just pushing it on this X, Y, and Z. I ain't pushed nothing on you. I ain't even brought it up. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing this girl and she's great, and we're just two fucking people.
Hell yeah,
man. The fact that she's trans really doesn't matter that much. But since everybody wants to be Christian and believe in God in their own special way, then that means it's an abomination and it's wrong and you're violating my beliefs. I was raised this way. And
which it's funny when people bring up about the Bible and this, that, and the third, it's always funny to see their reactions when I say, what are you talking about? The Bible has one of the most queerest stories out there. And they're like, what do you mean? Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. He literally had a rainbow.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rainbow shit was co-opted. Rainbow's been around before. It became.
Well, I mean, if you look at that story, it's got a lot of gay elements to it. I mean, which is it's fun. Well, it's fine.
I have to admit, I do not read the Bible in depth. I am your average American Christian. I have never read it end to end. And I have to be honest, I have my scriptures that I cherry pick and things that I've taken away from it.
Sure.
But I've never read the whole thing, and I'm not schooled in it very well at all.
Look, I was brought up Catholic, and I didn't read the Bible.
A lot of American Christians that base their entire lives off of this religion and a book that they have not even read completely, which I find to be ridiculous. Yeah, now, I'm not anti-Christian or anything like that. I'm just anti-bullshit.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I want to showcase this comment as well because it brings up something I want to address. So Liberty, Liberty is part of the crew. Fucks with Liberty. Liberty says, I think they should come with their woman to show support as an ally. It's kind of like celebrating yourself and her at the same time by attending. My issue with this, and I had to bring this comment up because it's like, yo, everything shouldn't have to revolve around me having a woman. If I'm single, then what? Do I just not show up? Do I not get any support? Do I not matter anymore? Like, oh no, just do it with your woman. Not every aspect of my sexuality, my life, and how I handle it revolves around a woman. I got to deal with shit myself, and I need to show up and support. And I need to celebrate myself and my achievements and my journey.
Sure.
If that's what I want to do, that has nothing to do with the girl that I may or may not be with. Like, the idea of men showing up shouldn't be married to a woman being there. And I'm not I guess let me not put that all on you, Liberty. I just know people have brought that, oh, you're just an ally, just show up with the girl, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, all right, cool. But, well, for the longest, I didn't have one. But I still wanted to show up and I still wanted to do good and put my face out there and represent and, you know, fight against ignorance and intolerance and all that stuff. And, you know, like at that time, I may not have been looking at it for me. That's because at that point, I didn't really have that, really not where I'm at right now. So I hadn't really come as far in my journey. But it's just one of those, I don't know. It's just like, if you're a single guy, you're trans attracted, you don't have a girl, you're still every bit as valid, and you should be allowed to just show the fuck up and like be, hey, yeah, that's right. Pride, motherfuckers, let's get it. Like, let's party, let's celebrate. And no, I'm not looking on the outside in. I have my own personal story and journey. Now, like you said, you know, pride is about you know, educating people and whatnot. And I think that, you know, I think that's the annoying thing about it is, hey, there's going to be a lot of people that don't agree with you, a lot of people that don't want you there, and it's just like you're going to encounter ignorance and hatred at every turn over some shit that you didn't even do, because they're not really mad or at you, or they don't hate you, they just hate men, period. They hate the guy who was deal with them that they really liked, or they hate the guy that was, I don't know, you know, the guy that bullied them in high school, whatever. It's just like, essentially being there and in this space, I feel like a lot of times people in this space project onto us, and we're like, yo, I'm not like that. What are you talking about? Oh, these men, they're just this and they're dangerous and blah, blah, blah. I'm not dangerous. Yeah, there are dangerous men out there. I mean, you know, then we all just watch Jeffrey Dahmer on fucking Netflix. Like, it's just real.
I haven't even watched that yet, to be honest.
Oh, I watched it because I'm from I'm from Milwaukee, born and raised. So I was a kid when all that shit was happening, and I remember it all being on the news. You know, when they finally caught him, and I remember it being on the news when he got killed, all that stuff. Sorry, let me.
Jeffrey Dahmer was killed?
Yeah, he was killed in jail.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. I thought,
yeah, he was beat to death.
Nice.
Yeah,
good for him.
For sure. But yeah, I just think, yeah, I don't know. I remember being, you know, this single guy who, you know, had good intentions and wanted to. And now I have to be honest. Shout out to the city of Denver, and congratulations on the NBA championship, by the way. I got spoiled in Denver. Denver was where I was first starting to come out to community events, pride events, and they were so welcoming and so nice. And like, I didn't have no problems there. Didn't nobody fuck with me, and we were all good. And I clearly stated, you know, who I was, why I was there, X, Y, and Z. And they were like super dope. I didn't know all this ugliness and other stuff was waiting for me out here in these other cities.
You know, there's something. So, okay, being originally from Philadelphia and then moving to Texas and being in the area that I am, the area that I am currently living in has a transgender group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much it's a safe place for trans individuals to go and talk, and almost therapy group, but more of a just knowing that there's other people out there in the community where you can get valid information, or you know, hookups for specific doctors, or how to begin on your transition, and so on and so forth. So I was brought into this group because of my ex. We found it together. We went as a couple. And honestly, being trans attracted, it was one of the most liberating things to be a part of, right? And I don't mean because of the many trans women there. No, you learn people's stories. You make friendships with these individuals, right? You learn information that you don't know unless somebody explains it or you experience it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it also, for me, it also helped me overcome internalized transphobia. Even though I was married to a trans individual,
Mm.
right? Trans attracted, I still wasn't open with myself and the people around me. It was a very, this is who I'm with, this is who I love. Don't ask questions, it's not your business, and I don't have to tell you squat.
Mm.
And that was tiresome to live that way. And then being a part of this group, if you can get into a group like this, it helps because you have people to talk to. You have people that understand to a certain degree what you're going through. Now, if you're going into these groups expecting to meet these women and date through the little circle, then you're having wrong intentions and shouldn't join that group.
Yeah.
But I think it helps, and I think there should be groups out there like this. I mean, yeah, we're doing a great thing online, but dude, I know I say this, if you can, go on tour or something, and you know what I mean, go to specific cities, get a group of us together to go do it. I would be down in a
I
heartbeat.
promise you this much: if I hit the numbers, we're going on tour.
Hell yeah,
We're going on tour.
Absolutely.
If I hit the numbers, we're doing something. We'll shop a reality TV show. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll do something.
who knows?
But I've actually been in correspondence with some other non-trans focused podcasts. Really, kind of just give more representation because
Sure.
people don't hear from the men that actually date trans women, and they don't know the story. Like you say, knowing stories about people in community and all that stuff, like that is, you hang around folks long enough, like you start to learn and you hear what they went through. You hear the good, the bad, the ugly, all that stuff. You hear about what their friend did. And, I definitely got a lot of that along the way. But the thing that's different with me specifically is, on the flip side of it, I got all the stories from the men who are out here trying to make things happen, and who have had some pitfalls and some unfortunate incidences and circumstances, and none of which had anything to do with them in terms of, like, it wasn't their fault. It's just bad things happen.
Sure.
So I guess it's just like, I don't know. That's kind of why I've been convinced to get myself into the convention circuit and start doing some panels and start appearing in different places. So that is coming. I will be organizing some sessions at different trans conferences 2024, and because crazy enough, from what I'm hearing, these women, they're bringing their husbands, boyfriends with them to the convention, and they ain't got nothing for them. And these guys just hang out at the bar all fucking, like, the entire time. They do nothing because there's nothing for them. They're just like, it's like the kids at like a department store. Like, they just run around because the parents are sitting there trying on all the clothes and they're not shopping. They have nothing there for them.
Yeah.
So it's like that. But yeah, so I've been convinced to get more active in that side of things. To be honest, I just opted to just say, yeah, I don't need to do that job.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that job, and I don't need to deal with these. Like, I'm sorry for my own mental health. I just removed myself from certain spaces, and conventions full of trans women doesn't exactly seem like the kind of place that I feel like I should put myself in, because I don't want to have to deal with everybody's shit, and I don't want to have to deal with your trauma and your trauma and your trauma and your trauma and your trauma.
Well, I mean,
manifesting and you being a piece of shit to me because I didn't do shit, because some guy fucked you over. I don't know. And now you're triggered by men, and it's a whole fucking thing. It's like, it's been my experience, when in those spaces, the girls are very light on accountability, and they don't rein in their fellow sisters.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's just like they just let them go hog wild, and I'm like, Anybody gonna stop this? Nobody. Everybody understands I didn't do shit, and this person just has a shitty outlook on men. But oh, you got hurt by men too, so you don't care. Okay, like it just nah.
The thing is, right? This group needs to find a way to stand up against people like Ben Shapiro, right? Or what's that girl's name? Brett Cooper, or what's his name? Walsh.
Matt Walsh. Yeah.
Matt Walsh, right?
Yeah.
We as a group need to find a way to diligently, respectfully, and intelligently be able to stand in front of these individuals and make as much noise as they are, and being able to have counter arguments with what they're saying. But the problem is that not every trans attractive man or guy is out or makes it known,
or even equipped to do it, even equipped to have conversations with these individuals, because I mean, not every member of the trans community is equipped to spar with these dudes,
right?
Like it takes certain people who can spar with these folks, and not everybody can do it. It's not everybody's wheelhouse. But for those of you who don't know, these are a lot of like white conservative guys or content creators who they get a lot of suction off. They get a lot of clout and views off of asking disingenuous questions like, "What is a woman?"
Yeah, which I don't understand. I've been seeing that a lot lately. Like,
yeah, so it's just that stupid shit, and that's what they get. What was that Dr. Phil, where they had the non-binary individual on there, and then I think that was a trans man. I'm not sure, but it was just like they I don't know. It's like they essentially having us on their platforms is not going to get them any views.
Yeah,
it's not going. I mean, we're not sensational. We're just dudes. But if you get breaking the binary, them, they individual on there, oh, they're gonna like, oh wait, that looks like a girl, but they got a beard and they got wearing a dress, and it's like, what is this? Is this circus time? What a freak! Like that's what people want to see. They want to see that shit. They want the sensational, and they're gonna get. I mean, that's what gets them the clicks. They're not like, I would love to be able to talk to, some of these individuals, but the other side of it is you never lose on your own platform.
And then I don't understand. You have people like what Coco said. You have Blair White, right? You have Blair White. You have God, what was her name? There was this other girl that recently came out on TikTok, and she's trans. She documented her whole transition.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Who?
Dylan Mulvaney.
I have no idea about Dylan. I don't pay attention to Dylan. I have no idea what the hell's going on in that situation, and
I thought that's what you were talking about.
No,
they documented the first year.
God, there was it's this blonde girl. I forget her name. I've sent it in our discussion board that we've had, but where she's literally trans, saying that she doesn't feel that children should seek gender therapy and so on and so forth, when she literally went through it at a young age herself, and she started siding with I'm not very good with politics, either the right or the left, I forget which side, but she started getting a lot of hate from her community because she was pretty much telling her own community to fuck off in a way.
Well, when you want to be an independent thinker, that's just what it's going to be. So if you want to go down your own road, then do your thing, or spread ideas that are against your own, best interests or the interests of people who are like you, fine, whatever. I just think what I hate about those situations is sometimes those people come back and they try to play the victim for being cast out of their own community for propagating ideas that are antithetical to the community itself, that don't help it but hurt it. That's like a Clarence Thomas situation. We don't fucking, black people don't fuck with Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
So, a lot of them don't fuck with Candace Owens. Just is what it is. But yeah, sorry, we're all over the place on this one. But let me see. Oh yeah, sorry. Hold on, Coco, you got me good here in the comments, and I want to show that comment because you did get me good. Oh, she said, you think in all this large world of social media, there will be an active group of men to march in the parade to show their pride. And I can tell you that there are, obviously, we have the Men Like Us tribe, and there's the Trans Supporter Brotherhood. There's only 2 groups I know with like hundreds of guys in them. There are groups like that, but the issue is a lot of these guys don't see themselves. First off, a lot of these guys don't see it as their lane to do any of this activist political stuff. They don't want to be out there marching. They don't want to be out there in the front. That's just not their life. It's not what they do. But then also there's other ones who just don't believe, like, hey, I'm just backup guy. Like, I don't need to be out here supporting and try and rally and X, Y, and Z. Like, this ain't my thing. I'm separate from the community. I'm not a part of it. I have no stake in it.
Yeah.
Why am I? I'm just backup support guy. Like, I guess I might go if my girl wants me to go with her. I don't know. I'm not like they'll never feel led to do their own thing as men. There are just these pockets of it. So then you end up with, really a minority of guys who would do that. But then the other issue is we're spread out across the world, not the country, the world.
Yeah.
We got guys in the group. We got guys in the group in Korea. We got guys in the group in Australia, in London, in Spain, like Italy. We got guys all over the world, So it's just like these groups exist, but the amount of guys who actually are in proximity to each other physically, or who can get to the same place, or who want to get to the same place, is just not that much. And it's sad that that's where it's at. But there are the few, the mighty, the few, the bold. But
sure,
I do think any guys who are watching this, show up. Like, you don't have to announce yourself as trans, attracted, trans amorous, whatever else. If somebody asks you why you're there or whatever else, I guess you can say. You don't really owe anybody an explanation, and you don't owe them an explanation that they like. You don't have to say things in a way that that jives with their own personal beliefs. So there is that as well. But I think we're we've been going for a minute, so we're gonna wrap this up, man. And I want to thank you, Dom, for taking time out of your night to hop on to speak with me, and I also want to thank Colin and Sammy for hopping on and offering their views and opinions on the show. And I also want to thank everybody in the comments, including all the folks in the Philippines and the Americans and the Canadians, everybody on the live stream.
Hell yeah,
Appreciate
man.
y'all. What's up, Monica, Coco? Oh Lord, there's so many names. Blue Beyonce, Tracy, Nova, Liberty. What up, Liberty? Viva. Who else? I'm sorry, I just keep scrolling. It's all. What up, Roy? Oh yeah, and Dom, who's here now. Oh yeah, Dion. Is it, how do you pronounce her name? Is it Diane? Dion? Huh? Dion?
Yeah.
Yeah, what up, Dion? Also from the Philippines.
She's a cool person.
Yeah, it's good people. It's Gene Mike. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, thank y'all for watching the show.
Hey, I do apologize for hopping on late here cool. in my part of the state. We we're having really bad storms, and
Mhm.
I lost power, and then it came up, and then it came on. So I was just kind of waiting it out. I was sitting on Fortnite, waiting for it to finally be sustainable, and then so now I'm here, man. But yeah, absolutely. But thanks
Yeah, no,
for
it's all
allowing
good,
me to
bro.
come on.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I'm always down. So
Awesome. And yeah, thanks to Colin and Sammy who came on earlier, and thanks to everybody in the comments. And Coco, it's all good. I gotta, but I have to address the elephant in the room. We have a group, and it's not everybody is politically inclined, as you might say, which is why I spent my last stream kind of addressing that, because I don't think there's a lot of room for that now with all these laws that are being passed and how much attention is, or I guess how demonization of the community is being used to get votes.
yeah.
So,
Oh, I just remembered her name and actually found her on I remembered her TikTok or whatever. It was Kelly Cadigan. I don't know if anybody knows who she is, but she was all for trans rights and she's trans herself. And then all of a sudden she got a post-op surgery, and now it's completely out the window. And now she feels that trans education in children or for children and anything medical is completely wrong until they're at least 18 to 21 years old, which is detrimental to children that identify as trans, if they truly identify as trans, receiving medical how can I say this, hormone therapy. By that time, your hormones have already progressed, right? And kind of.
look, I'm gonna just be real with you. It's just, I mean, starting earlier could help out some women, but it's just some shit drugs can't fix. Okay,
Yeah,
you're gonna be what you're gonna be, and you're gonna be 6'4", and then dang it, you're gonna be 6'4".
what Monica? She's wanting to pull the ladder up after her once she got her stuff. What does that mean? Explain that.
Essentially, now that she has quote made it and become a quote real woman, now she doesn't associate herself with the rest of the community and doesn't have any empathy and doesn't want to help anybody out who's on the way up to in their transition. So it's like, oh, I made it, and now I don't give a fuck about the rest of y'all.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
But that's kind of the part of the problematic mindset you catch with some of the post-op girls. They really do think they a whole new ass person, new life, new everything, and it breeds some problematic ass mindsets that I don't know, just ain't good. But yeah. I'm just keeping it real. It's too late to be sugarcoating anything out here right now. So cancel me. I don't care.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
keeping it real. I didn't say that was everybody who got the post out, but I know some who changed their whole everything after they got that surgery, acting high and mighty. And I understand post-op elitism is a real thing in the community. You ain't gonna, we not lying here, okay? We tell the truth. So, all right, I done finally got myself double, triple, mega canceled now.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell sign off.
Cheers.
So with that, we are out, and we will catch y'all on the next episode of the Men Like Us podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, set your notifications up so you know when we go live, because y'all know this ain't happening every week, but when it do go up, you should know about it.
Agreed.
So with that, we are out. We'll catch y'all next episode.